Esty, I have a quick question for you. Where do your clients typically book with your business? If the answer is they text me or they DM me, then you are your own business's bottleneck. Because whether they have a website or not, a lot of estheticians are still doing manual back and forth bookings on a day-to-day basis. And at that point, you're just doing free labor, because I would bet anything that you did not factor in the manual labor that you have to do to get someone through the booking process in your pricing. Now, some estheticians are still in this position even if they have a website. But if you haven't figured it out yet, having a pretty website and having a website that actually converts new clients and books you up are two completely different things. In fact, there are two types of common websites in our industry. Websites that act like a brochure and websites that act like a salesperson. A website that acts like a brochure pretty much just tells people that you exist. But a website that acts like a salesperson welcomes them in, builds trust, and walks them through your booking process. The difference between a website that acts like a brochure and a website that acts like a salesperson is the brochure style website is built to look good and get some information across. But a website that acts like a salesperson, that is really going to convince someone to book with you. So today we are going to be talking about what it takes to build a strong website that operates like a salesperson so that your business can start to scale and book clients without you constantly needing to be there. By the end of this episode, you are going to understand what a high converting esthetician website needs to do in your business. You're going to learn the difference between a website that actively books up clients and a website that just takes up space. You'll also be leaving here with some tips on how to look at your website and see where it might be losing people before they even get to the booking page. So whether you're starting from scratch or you have a current website that you're trying to fix, you'll look at 4 key areas to prioritize to help your website start operating like a salesperson. This episode is all about getting your website to pull its weight, because for a lot of estheticians, it just simply isn't. So let's get you booked up. Welcome to GlamTech Marketing's Booked Up Esthetician podcast, where estheticians get booked up with marketing strategies that actually work. I'm Faith. I'm a licensed esthetician with a master's degree in digital marketing and over 7 years of experience helping fellow beauty professionals grow and scale their businesses. If you are a licensed beauty professional looking to build something bigger than a booking link and need someone to help guide you into making that a reality, then you're here. You did it. Welcome in. If you are constantly looking for new marketing strategies specifically for estheticians, go ahead and drop a follow, give me a comment so that we can connect. Okay, so I want to myth bust a little bit here. A lot of people assume that if you are taking appointments from your DMs, you do not have a website. But that is not always the case. You can have a website and still have a lot of clients coming in and asking you to book appointments through DMs. However, as an esthetician, this typically happens whenever there is no clear and concise path to booking from your website. And if you don't have a website, then your clients only have 2 options. Go straight to booking with you through a booking link, or go straight to your DMs and ask you a bunch of questions before they feel confident enough to book. Either way, if your bookings are not automatic, then each individual client is going to take you time, care, and attention that you could be spending on other things. And if you're still experiencing people coming to you via DMs, even though you have a website or your booking link is very thorough, it's probably because that link or that website is acting more like a brochure than a salesperson, meaning it's not guiding a potential client to the decision to feel confident enough to book. And so now you have to fill that gap as the owner or esthetician, because a brochure does not close bookings, but a salesperson does. And until your website starts acting like a salesperson, you are going to take on that job individually, 1 DM at a time. And here's an example of a website that's acting more like a brochure in the client's view as opposed to a salesperson. So maybe your potential client finds your website, clicks a link, and she lands on your homepage. Your homepage has a very beautiful picture of your front lobby and a big title of your name. She scrolls around for about 15 to 20 seconds for some kind of info on the service that she's thinking about booking and how to book that service. But if nothing pulls her forward, she is popping off that website. From here, she'll either give you a second chance by going into your DMs because she really wants to book with you, or if she's not quite so committed to the fact that you have to be the person to do the service, she will go to someone else. That's why these types of problems are kind of invisible until you're really getting ready to scale and ramp up your business, because from the outside, the site looks fine. And so whenever you're starting out, a lot of times you just check the box of, okay, I have a website. Now it's time for it to do something. And you wait and wait and wait for it to be this big moneymaker, and it never has been. That's because it's not enough for your website to just exist. You have to set it up so it can do its job. Your website should literally have a job description to earn its keep, because websites are not cheap, and we need to make sure that our employees, both in person and automated, are doing their job. It should guide, build trust, and convert, in that order. And if it's not able to do all three, then it's not doing its job. So for a website to guide someone, that means if somebody lands on your homepage, they should know exactly who you are and what business this is within the first 3 seconds. They should also know who these services are for and what to do next without having to click to go to a new page. Meaning on your homepage, you really need to be conveying all the important information. And you'd be surprised that the important information is not located off of I-70. It is, I am a brow waxer who specializes in XYZ for these types of people. This is my booking link. Okay, next is building trust. And basically, we're reassuring them that this is a credible and confident choice to trust us with whatever service they want. And as they're moving through the site, especially if they are brand new to you and your brand and your business, they are really trying to gather confidence to make sure that booking with you is the right decision. So you want to make sure that there is proof, there is clarity, everything looks professional and polished. Every click to a new page should make them feel more confident with their decision and not less. And then the third thing that your website should be doing, but definitely not the least, is converting. And for a website to convert appropriately, it means that the path to choosing that you're going to book with someone and actually booking is frictionless and super easy. That means the button is obvious regardless of what page they're on. The booking process is simple and you're not redirecting them to a bunch of different web pages, and nothing makes them second guess before they reach that finish line. So if your website is not doing these 3 things, then you have a digital brochure. And what you need is a salesperson. There are 4 parts of your website that are going to create a strong salesperson: your homepage, your service page, your mobile experience, and your overall structure. If you get all 4 of these right, then you have a website that is truly operating like a salesperson, not just sitting there collecting dust. Your homepage is simultaneously your first impression for people who are not confident enough to book with you yet, and the initial guidance for people who are ready to book right now. Your homepage has one job, and that is to make someone feel like they landed in the right place within the first 3 seconds. And then in the next 10 seconds, your website needs to explain what you do and what to do next. Your homepage should also have keywords that not only signal that this is the right place for a potential client, but also for SEO, for Google, for searches, to make sure that you are popping up higher whenever people Google or search certain keywords. Having keywords in your homepage or SEO is basically signaling to Google and other search engines that you are a credible business, while also simultaneously instilling confidence to your potential clients that you are in their area, you specialize in what they need, and so on. But you don't want to be stuffing in a bunch of random keywords that look visually unappealing or don't make sense to your potential client. Having a strong headline is a really good example of this, because it can immediately signal to both Google and your potential clients that you are a credible and trustworthy business. So having a headline that's like advanced skin treatments for adults with sensitive skin in Denver, Colorado, that is a very strong headline and needs to be on your homepage. This not only helps you get seen by Google, but it also really resonates with your ideal client and your audience, and you will get more bookings because they're seeing that you are treating that specific issue that they are dealing with. And it doesn't even have to be that specific. It can be like luxury brow lamination in the Dallas metro. Things like that really help clients feel more comfortable, and also Google. In your homepage, you also need to bring attention on how to book with you almost immediately. I tend to recommend having the booking button before you scroll on your website in the homepage. homepage. So like right as someone lands, they are seeing the booking button. I recommend this because you will also have current clients looking to quickly book with you, and this is the easiest way for them to just click the button and go to your booking link. If it's not right on that front page, then it needs to be less than one scroll away to get to your booking button, because if they have to go all over your homepage to book with you, then you will be causing some confusion and they'll probably end up in your DMs. So your service page can make the biggest impact for new or prospective clients, because the service page is where you can really feed them from consideration, just curious about your services, to booking with you within 5 to 10 seconds. The service page is where someone decides if an offer is right for them. If these pages are vague, you're basically leaving your potential client to fill in gaps for themselves. And this creates uncertainty and doubt, and ultimately creates a break in your booking path. A first-time visitor in general should be able to look at a treatment description and basically decide if this is right for them without constantly sending you DMs. Next is your mobile experience, and this is a non-negotiable. And if you're building your website DIY style, I highly recommend focusing on mobile first and then going into desktop. You really want to know what your website looks like on your phone, and it needs to look its best on a phone, not the desktop. Because most of us now are referencing websites and doing our research via phone and not through desktop. And realistically, most people that are clicking your website are going to be on a phone. So mobile optimization sounds scary, but it's pretty simple, especially if you are building mobile first whenever you're doing like a DIY website. The biggest things is that your site should be able to load in under 3 seconds. If it's taking longer to load, go through all of your pictures and make sure that you're optimizing them to a smaller file size. Another thing is that the text should be readable without having to zoom in. And then the copywriting on your website, usually skimmable, very short statements do better on mobile because people don't typically read paragraphs of text on their phone. Another thing to keep in mind is having the buttons big enough to touch with your thumb and making sure that there aren't buttons like overlapping. So if somebody thinks that they're clicking on the booking button, it actually takes them to the service page. We want to avoid that. Make sure that you're appropriately spacing your links and make sure that those links have buttons that are big. Another thing is to make sure that your booking page is accessible within 2 taps of your homepage. In my opinion, it should be 1 tap away from your homepage, but I will give you the grace of 2 if you really need it. The reason I say that is because if your website is hard to navigate on mobile, then you are losing bookings, point blank, every single time. On mobile specifically, it really doesn't matter how amazing a website look. If it is not doing the job of converting people into bookings, then you are missing out on hundreds, if not thousands of dollars every month. And that last element is the overall structure of your website. This is the navigation, the number of pages, the flow of the experience as someone browses through your website. A site with pages that don't naturally lead to the next step tend to be more difficult to get people to convert because people will go to a web page and be like, okay, I read through the text, is that it? And there's no clear way for them to get to booking or to see the services and so on. The last thing that you want is your website visitors to have to click the back button. You want them to be clicking buttons on every single page that guides them through the story and the experience of your spa or studio. There should be a logical flow from arrival to the website to booking, no matter what journey they go on. Whether they're ready to book from the homepage or they want to look at your About You page and learn more about you and your education, or they want to go to your services page and look at that first. Those are all things that should lead back to booking every single time. And if any of these break, you will notice it in your booking volume. A lot of esthetician websites fall short in one of these areas, but once you know what to look for, it's really easy to fix in your site and you'll start to see it in others as well. To paint a picture as to why a website is so important for your esthetician-based business, imagine 2 estheticians in the same city. These estheticians also have the same specialty and can be found through Instagram, but they have 2 completely different website experiences. Imagine clicking on the first esthetician and seeing a big, beautiful photo of their studio and you see their logo up front. You scroll a little bit on the homepage and you see that they do have a service page. So you go ahead and click that. They have 12 treatments listed out, not by category, but just listed, and they don't have pricing on any of them. You identify the treatment or the service that you are looking for, so you scroll down to see if you can find a booking page. You find the treatment or the service that you're interested in booking, so you go ahead and click it and nothing happens. So you understand that by clicking the treatment name, you can't book. So you're going to go ahead and scroll around and see if you can find a booking button. You finally find the booking button at the bottom of the page, but it's kind of small and it takes a couple taps to get it to work. Once you click it, you get redirected to a third-party scheduling page, and it looks nothing like the rest of the website that you were just on. From here, it also asks if you'd like to continue as a guest or log in. Do you book? Some might, but some, especially if they have never booked with that esthetician before, might second guess based off of this experience alone. Now let's talk about the second esthetician. They have a bold homepage image of them actively servicing a guest. They have a headline on their homepage that says, "Advanced skin treatments for Nashville women who want real results, not guesswork." Without scrolling, you can see that there are 2 buttons that are options for you. One is to go straight to the booking link, and the other is to view their services. When you click the service page, you notice that every single treatment is categorized between skincare, waxing, and advanced laser treatments. Each treatment has a brief description of what it is, who it's for, and what to expect. They also have 3 featured treatments at the top of the service page as their best sellers. They have a book this service button underneath every single service treatment description. So based on those 2 estheticians, which one sounds like a better experience? Which one would you be more prone to book with? There wasn't anything glaringly wrong with Esthetician 1's website, but whenever you look at the 2 experiences side by side, knowing that they're in the same region and have the same specialty, then you could probably understand why Esthetician 2 is seeing more bookings on their calendar and is growing their business faster. Most will end up booking Esthetician 2, if nothing else, out of pure convenience. So I love having you guys walk away with something actionable that you can bring to your business. So here's a 10-minute challenge that you can do today instead of doom scrolling on TikTok. And I'm going to read it off just so that I don't mess it up. Okay, number 1. Check your homepage. Pull up your homepage on your phone and read out loud the first thing that you see. Does it tell a stranger anything about your website, or is it just featuring your branding or logo? Your logo serves a place, but it should not be the main character of your homepage. Does your homepage tell a stranger what you specialize in or who you serve? And is there a visible path forward without having to scroll, like a link, a button, a direction? Okay, next, let's go to the service page. Look at the services listed on your service page. Read each of the descriptions and make sure that it makes sense by just quickly skimming. If you were a client dealing with acne scarring or sensitive skin, would you know which treatment to book? This could be applied to any other type of category. If your ideal customer with an ideal problem or need came to your website, would they know what they need to book? If not, how can we change the description to make it more clear that this is what they need? Next is your mobile check. When you open your homepage on your phone, try to book an appointment the same way a client would. Count how many taps it takes from your homepage to a confirmed booking slot. If it's more than 3 or 4, then that is friction in your booking path. And if it's more than 5 or 6, then you're losing people. Also on your mobile check, make sure that your font sizing is big enough for people to read it without having to zoom in, at least on a reasonable level. I mean, I know your granny is probably always gonna have to zoom in a little bit, but for the average person with average vision, just go ahead and check to see that you're able to accommodate them not having to zoom in. Okay, next is the booking button check. How many pages of your website have a visible CTA, which is call to action, or booking link? How many scrolls does it take to get to that booking link or call to action? If you only have 1 or 2 booking buttons on your website, then you are probably leaving some bookings on the table, because the last thing that you want is your website leading someone to a virtual dead end. Okay, next is your structure check. Go ahead and from your front end, count how many visible main pages you have. If you have more than 6 main pages, ask yourself which one are your clients actually using? The pages that aren't doing anything either need to be consolidated or completely cut. If you have e-commerce integrated into your website, I'll give you an extra main page for your structure, but any more than like 6, it really starts to become very confusing. One other bonus tip is go into your About Me page or section. Most esthetician websites have an About Me page that reads a lot like a resume. They have licensing, years of experience, training certificates. While that does have value, a lot of times your personality is what compels people to book with you, not necessarily your trainings. Your About page should be all about your personality and your philosophy. So instead of saying that you've gotten your esthetician license 6 years ago from this school and you've done these training certificates, answer these questions instead. Why do you do this work? What do you believe about skin, skincare, beauty, or aesthetics? What can a client expect from you beyond the treatment? That human layer is often what tips someone from considering you to actually committing to booking with you. So if your bookings are still running people through DMs, or your website exists and just isn't pushing people forward, the problem is the same. Your website is not operating like a salesperson. And by fixing these areas, you will start to optimize your website to guide people through the booking process. And remember, clarity beats just pretty every single time. A simple, well-structured website will always outperform a gorgeous website that is just not optimized and leaves people guessing. The goal isn't to just have a website. The goal is to have a website that earns its place in your booking process. That way you're not doing its job manually, one DM at a time. And if your website is the one piece that you need to work on, here's the way to make it move faster. Whether you're building from scratch or upgrading the website that you currently have, if you watched this episode and thought, I really need to work on getting my website from the brochure column into operating like a salesperson, that's a clear starting point. I build websites and website templates specifically designed for estheticians. Every design and template is built the way that esthetician businesses need their websites to run in order to scale their businesses. The work of trying to figure out what it should include, how to structure it, and how to get it to function properly, that is already done for you. You just bring your brand, your services, and your personality to build it to its full potential. My websites and templates always have the bones to convert on a fundamental level, so you can customize it any way that you want and it will still operate like a salesperson. So if you're ready to stop doing the salesperson's job manually, then go ahead and jump to the show notes and I'd love to connect with you. Thank you so much for joining me for GlamTech Marketing's Booked Up Esthetician podcast. I'm your host, Faith Rodriguez, licensed esthetician and founder of GlamTech Marketing. New episodes drop on Tuesdays, and if you found something useful, a review or comment would really mean a lot. And if you could go ahead and give this podcast or YouTube channel, depending on where you're watching this, a quick follow, I would be very grateful. Until next time, SD, bye.